I'm going to be talking about Suckless and some of the tools that they provide and how I'm using them. You can find me over on my website, but I'll also be talking about what I'm going to be doing with that in the future as well. And then also you can follow me on Twitter. I am rarely posting things, but this will be the first stream that I think I actually go and post on my Twitter. So, and I'm trying to use Twitter and YouTube and these other just big tech sites just as places to distribute my content, not to, you know, interact with people, not to do things like that. For interacting with people, I'm trying to move away from Discord, and we're trying to get everybody over on something more free and open like Matrix here. This is where I would rather everybody go, and I have a link in the description to my particular Matrix server or community or whatever the heck it is. So, all right, let's talk about DWM, right? So basically, I'm on DWM now. I've really been enjoying my time on DWM. I can do all kinds of things that I didn't even know were possible, I guess, in terms of like all the different layouts I can get, all the different like control that you have, and just like how good patching is. So I patched in a few things, and I'm going to be talking about some of these patches. I'll just head over to my GitHub, or how's the best way to do this? Let's go here, then we'll break this out and we'll throw it on over to, and then I'll be talking about this in a second. I'll throw it over to 1. All right. Now, so let's see. Let's go over some of these. Basically, these are the patches I have right now. I plan on adding like a couple more, and then I think I'll be done with this. And I'm probably never leaving DWM, like ever, because it has basically every single last thing I want. I think I've gone over simple things like shift view, just being able to like move between tags and stuff like that. And, you know, simple things like having a system tray and stuff like that. So if you want to find like how I'm doing DWM, you can like follow it over here and just see. But some really cool things I found were like things that didn't work in i3. Like this thing called Skippy XD, where I can go like this and explode all of my windows and actually see them. And then all I have to do is like mouse over them, and then it'll jump me over to that window. Now that was one I was already on, but it'll even jump me between monitors. So like I'll go over here, and now I'm over here, right? And then I could do this, and then, I mean, I could be, this is my OBS, like actually recording the stream, right? And so then I can just kind of warp, and it's an idea of using warp along with notify, along with this tool called Skippy XD. And essentially what it lets me do is just kind of hop around real cool. Where was I? Anyway, let's see. I'm looking for a terminal. Here we go. Now, this is where I basically have, I don't have the clickable DWM blocks right now. I'm using a fork from DistroTube right now. I plan on rolling my own in the future, but that's, you know, I'm kind of using his right now. And with a couple modifications, like small things. But it's not clickable. It doesn't do anything yet. But what I plan on adding with that is D menu. So essentially, like, whoops, this is adding to my stack. What I want to do is open D menu here. And so I have it basically so it's clickable in here. So like if I do something like Neo Vide, right? What I can do is I can just click on it. Well, it should have opened it, but I don't know if it opens it from there. Let's see about like maybe Brave. There you go. So it opens Brave. I don't know why NeoVide didn't work. But did it go somewhere? No. So, but it opens Brave. And so what you could do theoretically, I have an X and Y patch where I can kind of move it around. So like if you do like, I don't know if I have D menu. Yeah, here's one, right? So like you can move this thing around, and then you can click on things. So what I want to do is I want to pipe just the programs that I'm interested in, or a few scripts, and then put it under one of these guys when I click it, and give it an XY coordinate, and give myself a little menu. And I can shrink this a little bit more, and then when I click it, maybe some terminal program opens up in like a floating window here or something like that. And so that's what I'm going to be working on with D menu. Also, when you click on it, you could just use the keys too. So that's like another thing. And then even further than that, you could even bind specific keys in D menu or in DWM to open D menu, and under like one of these things, like, you know, maybe you put it under volume and then you open up, like, you could imagine like, okay, and then you start typing and then like PA mixer, right? But it would be PA mixer, like showing you like, is it PA mixer? It's one of these, PA pulse mixer, right? And then you can open that up, and then maybe it'll open it up in like a floating window, like right there, and then you could, like, you know, change things about it. So that's something I'm interested in doing in the future. And these are the things that I feel like, I don't know, like I've just been more inspired to do since moving over to DWM. So I went over dmenu, DWM blocks. I haven't really gotten into DWM blocks and making the status bar clickable, but I'll do that in the future. I also wanted to go over ST. I have not fully riced out ST and done all of the stuff with ST yet, but I plan on doing that in the future as well. Another thing that I've been doing is I completely got rid of Oh My Z Shell. Let me go and see if there's anybody here yet. What's up, Joseph? Let me move this over here. Yeah, an old Mac wallpaper. Yeah, I got a bunch of them off the internet. What's my padding between windows? I have no idea. It's just, I could check it out later. But I wanted to get into the next thing that I've been doing. So essentially what I've been doing besides that is I had Oh My Z Shell for a while. And it's kind of laughable because when I was on, this is kind of, I guess I'll get into this when I start talking about my NeoVim thing. In this guy's video. It's essentially stop adding features to your software. And I think it was, you know, it was a really good thing to watch, and it's going to help like guide some of my decisions in the future. So let me go, where's my GitHub at? Here we go. So Z Shell. I think I have it under here. I forget what I was going to say about it. But yeah, I'll just get into talking about it. I guess first I'll go over Z Shell, and then I'll go over to how now I'm managing my dot files, since I'm just, oh yeah, that's what it was. So yeah, it's laughable because I was, I guess we have it on old here. And in my Z Shell RC, I had like all this complicated stuff. It's a little, there's still complicated stuff in my Z Shell RC, but now I had all this, and then also I had Oh My Z Shell along with it, so that if you went into here, you would see like, okay, prompt, I think it's under, let's see, it's under one of these things. Maybe it's export. It's something, and a lot of this stuff didn't even do anything. I don't know if it's under somewhere in here. Your Conda exports. Maybe it's just in the main one. Maybe I just missed it. Yeah. Well, either way, I was using this to essentially just pull in 2 plugins. Like, that's all I was using it for. I'm sourcing Oh My Z Shell somewhere in this stupid thing, and like it just didn't make sense to do that, right? Now instead, what I'm doing is I kind of rolled my own tiny plugin manager inside of my Z Shell now, and I basically have all the features that I wanted, right? Like, the only ones that I really cared about was like syntax highlighting, so you can see like if I put in blah blah blah, it's red, right? And then if I put in like a real valid command, it'll be like green, so like you know that it works, right? The other thing is like auto suggestions, so like if I do cd.config, like you could see like it has a suggestion for me, and if I just press over, it'll go and get that suggestion for me. Things like those were like the only 2 plugins I was using. And then I realized like there's things for like auto completion, or not auto completion. Yeah, I guess auto completion and stuff like that too. And you can get a lot of that with just like a simple package, right? Like there's Z Shell completion, so like for Git, like if you do like Git, I don't know, commit, and then if you do like this, so you have all this stuff, and I'm pretty sure that just auto comes with it, right? But there's other ones too, like for instance, like pip. Okay, I don't have anything for pip. Now, you could install some plugin for pip, but pip has and that's the Python package manager. Pip has a thing. We'll do config dshellrc and use Ranger to go to, I think it's in exports, I have it, yeah. So pip has a thing for completions here, right? So if I do this and I save this, right, I'll open up a new terminal over here. And now if I do pip like this, I just press tab, and now I have all of the pip completions, right? So some programs just give you that out of the box, and that's kind of nice. You don't really need to use some sort of plugin. Now, for ones that don't, you can still go and get them. And I wrote two small things. I wrote this has me in there, so that's what we want to do. So I wrote two small things. I wrote one, we'll go into functions. One to add a plugin, and it's not like the most optimal way. I don't know, like it's not bad, right? It's like, I don't know, let's see, from here it's like, you know, like 9 lines as opposed to all of my Z shell, and now you can pull in plugins, right? And then I also have one for completions, which is a little more complicated, but not really that complicated. And essentially I have something where it's true or false. If it's true or false, you know, you'll use it or you won't, right? So like, for instance, I used Conda a few times for like data science stuff. You see I don't have completions. If we come down here and if I go over to here, and if I jump to this and I put true, this should work. This is the first time I'm testing it. See how it took a couple extra seconds though to open up my prompt? That's because when you're sourcing a million things, right? Like if you have a ton of plugins, it messes shit up. It really slows down your prompt, and it's not useful to always have these things active. Now you see that I get all of these, right? And now I'm not using a plugin manager. I'm using my own plugin manager, right? Like I'm using a small thing that I wrote, right? Where I can pull in most completions, because most thing in Z Shell, it's all like, all of these plugins they have to all follow rules. And so you can just write a function that picks up on those rules. So I'll turn this to false. And you saw that we had all those completions there. And now it won't source it. Now imagine now it's not sourcing it. I'm like, all right, I want to use Conda for things or whatever. Let me just make sure it's not still doing it. Okay, it's not. Now you can do comp init Conda. All right. And now if I do Conda, I get all the things. So really fast, you could just like write some sort of binding, or you could write, you could just remember that, right? And then you could just do completion initialize Conda, completion initialize whatever thing that you pull in here. That way you don't have to immediately start it, and you know, it will speed up your terminal and all that kind of stuff. I did a bunch of other things with Z Shell too that I won't really get into all of them here, but like, you know, you got your regular just like FZF type stuff, right? Like just different things. Like if you want to look through commands that you've done before, just other stupid silly things. I've seen it, like I just started going through other people's Z Shell RCs and taking, you know, inspiration and different functions and things that they've had, and you know, you can build a pretty good one just without using Oh My Z Shell. And I'll probably do a video on that in the future too, but yeah, you can make it really powerful without needing that. So I got rid of that too. Let's see if there's anything here. So advantages of ST over Alacrity. The only thing I don't like about Alacrity right now is like they don't have ligatures, and I'm just used to like programming with ligatures now. So that's like an issue that I have. What's up, Cyborg? Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff you might not know is possible with Z Shell because everyone depends so heavily on... it took me 1 day to set up my Z Shell the way that it is now. Did I try Fish? I'll never probably move to Fish. I like Z Shell. I'm not moving to Fish. I don't like to move, all right? So this big move for me is like completely like out of character. Like I don't want to move. I've been on i3 for probably 4 years, right? And like I wasn't gonna move off of it, and now I'm, you know, now I'm doing DWM, and I'm not moving from DWM, and I'm definitely not moving from Z Shell. I think some people avoid Fish. Yeah, it's also not POSIX compliant, so you know, I don't know if Z Shell's perfectly POSIX compliant, but it seems to mostly be, right? There are a couple things that can mess you up with cross-platform scripting. Yeah. Bash shell and then blah blah blah. Yeah. Some people do that too. You know, I'm not, you know, here to get into the shell wars, but I like Z Shell. That's what I like. You know, that's what works for me. Now, so I have all this stuff here. Now, another thing that I have is I started using GNU Sto. Now, we'll go to master branch. I guess my master branch can't be found. Whatever. Let's go here. Oh, because, yeah, sure. Now, what you'll notice here in my, and let me put this big so you can see, and I got a little picture here, so, but anyway, so what you'll notice is this doesn't look like dot files, right? Like everything is under like alacrity.config alacrity, kava.config.kava, dunce.config.dunce, blah, 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 and so on and so forth, right? Now I could have grouped all of these things. This first folder name doesn't matter. It could have just been my cool dot files, and then I could have put every single last program basically just under that, under .config, under, you know, everything could be inside one file. I did this to give me the ability to do it modularly. So now what I can do is, I'm calling it like mock files, like machine files. And so what I can do is I can push this up, I can have a README, I can like explain things, I can, you know, write documentation for it. And what I can do instead, if I want to like, you know, and I can use Git. And then what I essentially have is Stow, which is like a Symlink farm manager, I guess. And I just learned about this and I've just been lazy. Now, you could stow all things like that, and that will just take, you know, every single last thing in here. And what it'll do is it'll copy it to, all right, ignore this first folder, and it'll copy it to from where you are. That's important. So like, you know, like we mock files this thing. Where is it, right? It's in my home directory, right? So mock files is in my home directory. And so essentially like these, like forget this first file, and then I have a .config file, right? And then all of these get copied over to that as symlinks, like from what's inside there. And this has just been way better than whatever stupid way I was doing it before, right? So this is pretty great. See if there's anything else here. Have I tried BSPWM? I never will try BSPWM. I will always be on DWM from now on. Like, I'm not going to window hop again, or window. I don't hop. Like, I'm not moving off of Arch Linux. Probably not moving off of Arch Linux. If I do, I'm definitely not. If I make another choice, I'm staying there for 10 years. And DWM, I'm staying here for you know, the foreseeable future. Like, I'm not leaving. I will probably learn every single line there is to know in the DWM code base, like, before I leave. All right, so that's Z Shell, that's GNU Stow, that's the stuff I'm using there. It just makes everything extremely simple. So the next thing I wanted to get into was like websites and a few things like that. So I looked at I don't know if it's like I don't know if he's calling it distrotube.com or I'll try distro.tube. I don't know if it'll work. I don't think it will. I might have been the thing over in Gemini. But I think it's distrotube.com. And so basically, I guess his name's Derek, right? What he ended up doing, I don't know if I should be calling him Derek or like call him DistroTube. I guess people call him DT, right? So what he ended up doing was just using a Gemini site and then just like converting it over to HTML. And he has this simple, just essentially like a text file, right? Really super simple. Just you click on like whatever, and there you go. It's very fast, very static. No trackers, no bullshit, no nonsense, right? I really like this, right? And so, like what I've noticed with my site is that it's very difficult to like I'm using NPM and React and GraphQL and all these things, right? And like I understand how to use them, but like it's another thing to think about, right? Like if my website was just one big text file like this, that would be just so much easier for me. And the Gemini stuff is cool. Not a lot of people are on it, but I'd rather support that than like, I'm still going to be like on the regular net. Like I'm still going to do something similar to like this idea here, because I think this is a great idea. And just use kind of like a lot of the limitations that Gemini puts you on, and then just have this simple, like super dead simple, you know, I don't know, blog, website, whatever. And yeah, so I want to get into the Gemini stuff, and I want to check that out just to literally build a site, like a super simple site like this. Just because I don't want the overhead. I don't want like the mental, I don't want to have to think about my website. You know what I mean? Like ever again. Let's see. So Oh, look, people are over on Twitch. Very few people are. By the way, you can follow me over on Twitch. I'm simulcasting in Twitch now. I'll probably be simulcasting in Theta Theta is what it's called. What's up, Luke 100 Pro? You're my Twitch chatter for today. What's on the agenda? Essentially, I guess I don't really have anything on my Twitch to like let people know what I'm doing. But essentially, what I'm talking about is I'm moving to different software. I'm moving to more minimal, simple, super simple software is kind of the idea. A lot of votes for BSPWM here. Well, it's not. I'm sure it's great, but for me, it's not going to happen. Stow is never meant for this purpose. It is big weird, but automation is always good. Yeah, a bit weird. Yeah, but I really like it. It works for me, and it's a tool that even if it's not for this purpose, right, I may be able to find reasons to use it in the future, right? And then I can use it for this, and I can use it for something else in the future. I can think of other places where it would be useful. It might even be useful packaging up my website and stuff like that. Hi from Portugal. What's up, dude? It's Mr. DT. All right. Maybe we'll go with Mr. DT then. Have you tried a Git Bear repository for .dot files? Nah, I like Stow. I'm happy with Stow. No LaTeX? What? What you call it? What's it called? Gemini? Oh, well. Can I share my Twitch profile? Yeah, maybe. I don't really know how to get there. Hold up. Let's see. I'm live somewhere. It should just be Chris at Machine at Twitch. I don't know. I'll have to get the link. You know what? It might be in the chat description. I'm not sure. I just think as a web dev, as in this time when you sell something with a front end, this kind of everything less website, it's only for very technical users, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm not really trying to sell anything on my website, though, right? Like, I just want to put documentation there and text where I write about things, and that's it. What's up, Philip? Nice to find a live stream up. Yep. Basically, I'm going to start doing videos. I'm going to do videos on like what I did with Z Shell. I'll probably do a lot of videos on like Suckless stuff in the future. You should check out Brody Robertson's Z Shell config. He has a cool thing for completion, so it's case insensitive. Yeah, I've seen that you can set that up. I have it case sensitive by design, believe it or not. If you could go back to 1995 and hook up JS Creator with a girl and change the course of history, would I do it? I'm not sure it would help. I think it would have happened anyway. I think it would have just happened with maybe a different language. And who knows, it could have been worse. So, what's up, dude? See, now we're getting more Twitch people. This is the most we've ever had on Twitch besides when we got spammed really bad the one day. All right, so next thing I'm going to be talking about. So, oh yeah. Now there's another thing that Luke went over. Luke Smith on Luke Smith channel. He went over this site called Wibby, and like this is another reason I decided to do it. Like I literally go on this website and I click surprise me, and I'm just so happy every single time I find one of these websites. Like they're so like cool. Like look at this vintage television, and it's like this is, I don't know. Isn't it just so much comfier to like look at this than like, I don't know, whatever other stupid websites you've been to? Like look at the pattern in the back. It just fits, right? Like it's very, I don't know. It's aesthetic, right? Modern websites are terrible. Like this whole like whatever we have going, and they're complicated, and like this site, the reason it's still able to be around today is because it's so dead simple. It's not like HTML's going anywhere in CSS, right? So there you go, right? It's like text. That's basically it. It's not tracking me. It's not doing whatever. Like you just come on here, you click surprise me. I don't know why this one's taking so long. I guess that one can't be reached, whatever it is. 60-second regiment of foot. Sure. Like whatever this is, right? Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I found this cool, and so like my website. Most websites are way too complicated. I think I agree. I think I've taken I think I've capitulated. I agree with that now. Both platforms to obtain double the knowledge, yeah. Well, today's not going to be super huge knowledge share, but, you know. I think Pandoc is quite neat. You can have your website as a markdown file, then export it to a static website. Yeah, this is my idea. I basically want to export my markdown files into like a Gemini site, and then turn the Gemini site into like an HTML site. Or maybe just go right from markdown to a separate Gemini site and a separate HTML site. And that's it. I just want to write markdown. And if people like want my blogs or whatever, instead of like, because like this site is simple. Like it's about as simple as like, you know, a modern site can really be, right? Like you click on topics and you click on the topic that you want, and then you can scroll through the blog, right? And it looks good and it has all these things, but under the hood, it's complicated, and like more complicated than it needs to be. You do get functionality like pagination and all those kinds of things, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like it's still a little too much. It's still a little too much for me at this point. Like I want super simplification. I don't want to even think about my website. I just want to write some text, shoot it up. That's it. I don't want to think about upgrading packages and all kinds of stupid shit like that. The other thing I wanted to talk about was this video. So I've been creating like kind of like a NeoVim distribution somewhat thing, right, for a while now. And basically, I won't go into the video, but and you can check it out, but he says stop adding features to your software, right? And it's like this whole video about like how great software that he used ends up becoming bad because there's too many features that are added. People ask for too many things, and it gets bloated, and there's too many things going on. Now, right now with MV Code, I might change a couple things about it. So, I think one of the most important things before you start, and this was just originally my NeoVim config, so it was just like literally just my thing for like, you know, stuff that I did, right? Like it was nothing like it wasn't eventually, I was never going to like distribute it to people. I just kind of wanted to show people, you know, that it was cool, right? So it's kind of taken on, I didn't really have a vision for it, and it kept like snowballing into all different kinds of things. Now, luckily, it's very like well put together, right? Like it makes a lot of sense. Like the structure of it makes a ton of sense, but I think there's too many things on here for a new user, right? For someone who wants to use this. Now, what I think I want to do with it, and you guys can let me know what you think kind of in the chat, right? But it's starting to take on features that I don't really need, right? And then I continue to use it. And then somebody else is going to need this, and then it's going to take on features that they don't need, right? Now, the hard part about NeoVim is setting up things like native LSP, right? Like having a sane configuration for native LSP. Then the other hard part is I have a plugin for installing things, right? So like installing LSP things. So like I have something called mvim LSP install in here somewhere among all of these plugins. And then the other thing is like I want a debugger. So I want LSP. Here it is, mvim LSP install. So that essentially you can do something like well, we already have this open here. So essentially you can do something like LSP install and then pick a language, right? This is simple. That's a good interface. Now, what maybe people don't need, like they probably want that, right? They want the LSP stuff. They want some form of a debugger built in, some form of completion built in. Emmet is useful. I don't know if I think it's something that should be built in, honestly. Snippets, a snippet package so that they get snippets for common languages. Tree sitter, maybe a few tree sitter utilities, right? Things that kind of, you know, get it, you know, working well, like auto tag and things like that are useful for things like XML and HTML and things like that. Like a status line at the bottom, right? Tabs at the top, right? Telescope, which is like a fuzzy searcher. I think most people want that. Some sort of tree. Color schemes. Now, you don't necessarily need colorizer. Maybe you don't care about colors and stuff like that, like that they auto show. Maybe you do. Maybe I'll keep that one, but maybe I won't, right? Polyglot's kind of just like color schemes, tree sitter kind of thing. Now, it starts to get a little bit like here, like where with like fugitive and rhubarb and gists, you don't need that, right? You might want get signs, and I think I'll leave get signs and probably get blame as well. Now, these are specific to languages. I'm not sure how I feel about them. You don't necessarily need quickscope or hop or ranger built in. I think witch key's pretty useful, but we'll see. You don't really need better quick fix or Vim router. I'll probably leave the dashboard. You don't need Kodi if you don't need it, right? You don't necessarily need markdown preview. You don't need float term. You probably do want a good commenter. You don't really need dial, Goyo. I don't think you need Vim matchup or bookmarks or a few of these other things. Auto pairs you probably do want. You don't need this, right? And you don't need this. And so I can go down, you know, the rest of these and kind of get rid of them, right? So really, the thing that I want to distribute to people is a working, sane default config. Something where you can go in and change and add what you want, right? So what I think I'm going to do is make it much more bare bones in the future. So I don't know if anyone had any opinions about that in the chat, but we can talk about that. I would suggest looking for Hugo for build a simple mark. Even Hugo. Here's the problem with Hugo. Here's the problem with Hugo, right? Let's go to Hugo GitHub. Look at all this. I don't need that. I don't need this, right? Like this monstrosity with like 584 issues, 60 pull requests. Dude, I'm sure it's great. And maybe I would use it if I was building a static site for somebody else and they were paying me to do it. But there's so much here, right? There's just so much here. And I want simplicity. I want just absolute simplicity. I don't even want to think about it, right? CIA wants to be auto-playing ad block detecting. The CIA wants every website to be an auto-playing ad block detecting news site. Yeah. And that's the interesting thing about when you come here, man. This is not news. You're learning. All right, most people, like, all they know is what they were told that week, and then they wake up the next week, and then there's a new narrative, and that's all they talk about for a week, and then so on and so forth. Every single week, you know, it's like a new, holy shit, there's a new, whoa, terrorists, or there's a flu, there's this, there's that. It's like there's an economic collapse, there's politics and divides across all these political lines, and it's like, how about, dude, you know, what if, like, you instead of taking in like this low like this information that you get weekly, right, like the news, the 24/7 news monster machine, what if, like, you spent your time reading text and like websites that were like, you know, like you were learning things that like a book, you know what I mean? Or like, I don't even know what the hell this is. Like, if you were just learning new things that were timeless, not like things that were, you know, fed to you every single week. Like, it's called a feed for a reason, right? Like, think about it. You and Luke are web technology hipsters. You guys probably have a lot of sweaters and mason jars. I don't think I'm at Luke's level of technology hipster yet, but I think he's on to something. I used to think a lot of that stuff was a meme, like haha funny, but then now that I'm looking at it, he's probably right. You can easily use React or Nuxt, SSR View, use Markdown as source, and just have, yeah, but I don't even want to do that. You can easily do a lot of things. But no. I don't want any of it anymore. He's got beanies, yeah. What is a beanie false equivalent? Your font size might be a bit too small for readability. 720, by the way. Okay. It looks pretty big to me. You guys can let me know if my font's too small. I keep clicking on things. I don't know why I have my mouse in my hand. Someone will yell at me for that. Gotta have my NVIM color of the day. Checking out Hugo. Yeah. No Hugo. It's not gonna happen. Users should be able to delete features they don't want. I don't think so. I think that it should come with the vision for it, like at least the vision for MV Code. The vision for MV Code will be to give you a sane default config. Something where all the pieces are there, you just install the thing you want, and that's it. And that's it. It's simple. It's not complicated. There's not a million things going on and like all this extra nonsense. It's like simple LSP config. That way that, you know, you come in, you install the LSP that you want, you already have tree sitter, you already have all the other niceties, but you don't necessarily have these extra plugins, which I have about like maybe 20 extra plugins. Half of them I'm not using. And they're too much. And I can imagine that this software, MV Code or whatever I'm going to call it in the future, I can imagine it blowing up out of control. Like I can see this coming. This video, I haven't really talked too much about it, but stop adding features to your software. Like basically, like what he ended up going over was, I'm trying to like explain it, but like, you know, like I think I encapsulated it pretty well in what I said earlier, which was basically like so many companies, like nobody ever says we should take this out. Everybody thinks about what we need to add. What we need to, you know, what else can we pack into this thing so that it has every single feature? But like, what's not necessary and get rid of it, right? And that's what I want to do. I want to take that, I want to define, okay, what's the vision for this piece of software? The vision for this piece of software is to get new users up and running quickly and essentially act as documentation for like a new, NeoVim user, or not really a new NeoVim user, but maybe a NeoVim user who doesn't want to go. It's like a bootstrap, right? It's like a quick bootstrap that just gives you all of the stuff you need to write code, and that's it. Please zoom times 1000. All right, 1 second. Is that better? I don't know. That's maybe better. Let me go over to this one. There you go. I'll zoom in on the other ones too. Yeah, I could do that, but I think I just want to add the simple stuff, right? Like bare bones and core and a full suite one. The full suite one, the problem is you only have one master branch, right? Now maybe I'll have another branch on there that's going to be my config, and so that one's going to have a bunch of features and all the stuff that I use. So if you want to like come see what I'm doing, you can always check out that branch. As long as you know how Git works, right? You can click on a branch and see what I have, and that's it. And you can test it out, and you know, whatever. But for the main one, it can't keep getting out of control. I can't let it get out of control. If I let it get out of control, it'll become confusing. It'll become a bloated mess. I won't even know what my config does anymore. Personally, I don't use any. I'll never write PHP. If I needed to write PHP, I could go grab it from the bare bones config, the one that just gives you all the LSP for everything that you need, right? Hugo's the world's fastest framework for building websites, dude. Catch up with the program. I don't care if there's too much. The output is a very static HTML. Yeah, but I don't want to depend on it. I want to depend on like, ideally like a shell script, right? Like I want to depend on like something very, 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 very small. Like something that just goes through and does very, very little. Like maybe Hugo will be good, but I don't even want to. I'm sure it has things I have to like learn, and then the API will change, and then it'll be deprecated or something It'll be the new flavor of the week. It'll be like, whoa, this one is written in Rust. And now get with the program. Like, no. Learn timeless stuff, not the stuff that ceases to be relevant within a week. Irrelevant within a week, I think. I think you meant to say irrelevant within a week, but yes, Tyler, you're saying I understand. What's up, Pablo? Anyway, your Tree Sitter 1 Dark theme has some problem with get signs. Doesn't color them at first launch, but I'm gonna open an issue on GitHub later anyway. Yeah, you can open up an issue if you figure out how to fix it. Put in a PR. I'll probably work on that at some point. I basically have 2 configs. Or two color schemes now. I guess I have to make this bigger. This is small, I guess. That was weird. So, there's this one I support actively, which is, I'm calling it Lunar. And, I don't know, what is all this? No, we don't want this. init.vim. So we can kind of look at okay. This is another thing I don't like about nvim tree. There we go. Now, I don't know, what's like a file that'll, you know what? I could actually look at what am I already in .config? Okay, that's a little annoying. All right. So like this is one that I'm supporting, which is called Lunar, and this is going to be the new default color scheme. I just like it better. It's like more muted and just, I don't know. It's kind of like a mishmash of like a bunch of different color schemes and things I liked about them. Not like different colors from different color schemes. It uses a lot of the original Nord colors, but yeah, it's just, I like it. The other thing that I have is the other one that I support is MV Code. And this is one that kind of looks like, like VS Code, right? So that's kind of this one. And these are the ones that I will actively support. I'll probably add some stuff to One Dark as well, and just support those 3. And then if people want to support the other ones, maybe I'll support Nord. Maybe I'll just support what's already there. And then that's it. I'll go through and fix them at some point. But it's going to be a while because I would probably need a little bit of backup and support to get them all where they need to be. I came in late. What are you working on? This doesn't sound like DWM or ST racing. So I didn't say this video was going to be about DWM racing or anything like that, right? So this stream is mostly going to be about just approaches I'm going to be taking to debloat a lot of my software, and then what I plan on doing with things, and then also why I'm moving over to Suckless tools. Like basically I'm going to be using DWM, dmenu, and DWM blocks, and eventually when I get ST done, I'm going to be using ST for everything, probably. And then I was just kind of going over what I'm doing with my software. Just a thought, what about making a Lua library instead of a full distribution? Yeah, I mean, I could add a plugin, but I feel like there's too many things in this that are just somewhat, I don't think I want it to be that way. I think I'd rather people show up to it and then see, oh, okay, this is what the config looks like. It's a working config, and this is where you would put all the LSP stuff. All the LSP config stuff. This is where you would put all these things. These are all of the useful plugins to get you, from the start, developing easy. You don't need all the other stuff. You're doing that, and then you add the plugins you want to use, right? Do you hate declare type of var after its name? I don't know. I don't really have an opinion. What font is this? It's either JetBrains or Source Code Pro. I'm probably gonna start using Source Code Pro more. I've themed my Linux installation around MV Code. Yeah, that's cool, man. It's probably, I guess you mean around like Dark Plus, right? Or MV Code is essentially just like about as close as I could get to Dark Plus. After I left VS Code and moved to VS Codium with NeoVim built in for my daily driver, and now I just use NeoVim for everything because I can. With Lunar, it works fine. Yeah, Lunar is the one I support, and MV Code I support. Ahmad, hello, what window manager am I using? I'm using DWM, and I'm not leaving. Rob Pike explained why he moved the type declaration after the variable name. Yeah. Nord is fantastic color scheme. If you're colorblind, it's probably the only way to get it to pop a little bit. Yeah, so Nord I'll probably support too. I like Nord for the most part. What's up, John? And yeah. So let's see. Is there anything else I really kind of wanted to get into? I think for the most part, that was kind of the point of the stream, right? Which was just to kind of explain like where I'm going with things and, you know, kind of like just get back because like when I'm trying to keep too much software together for it to not be simple. It needs to be super, super simple, right? It needs to not be anything I have to think about for an extended. I should never have to like upgrade packages or something like that to deploy my site. And like keep it updated and like all. If it's just static HTML, like then it won't. I won't have to think about it because I'm trying to keep. I'm trying to keep, you know, my all of this DWM stuff because I find it important. I enjoy having my own thing, and I was on i3 for so long, and I just had it the way I wanted, so I never thought about it. But this DWM is probably going to take at least one more week of like getting it exactly how I want. And then I'll put it down for probably 6 months, and then I'll open it back up probably in 6 months or something like that. And while I work on other things. So after that, basically, I'm going to probably be doing a video on all my Z Shell stuff and like everything I'm doing here. Just so you can like, you know, you don't have to use Oh My Z Shell, you know, like I want to get away from all of those things. And then also later, I'm probably going to, if it's not an LSP related or quality of life improvement related thing to as a PR for my NeoVim stuff, then if it's adding features or something like that, I'm not taking probably on any new features, right? Like if you find like a new thing and it's not related, then no point in doing that. Lunar, it's really fine match with my Nord base. It's yeah, Lunar's based on DW, not based on DW. Lunar's based on Nord. It's very, very, very like it's using a lot of the same colors as Nord, but kind of like moved around. And then like a different background and a couple different ones. Do you use Arch's Nerd font or did you patch them yourself? I'm using Arch's. I'm using Arch's. I'm not patching my own fonts, at least not right now. NVIDIA SMI work. How do I make sure that my NVIDIA drivers are working? Right now I have NVIDIA and one day I would like to get rid of it. What I recommend doing if you are using NVIDIA though is sudo apt install. We want NVIDIA settings. You're going to want that, and then you just want NVIDIA. And then it should just work like out of the box, but what you can do is NVIDIA, someone mentioned NVIDIA SMI. We'll just do SMI, MIS, SMI, right? And then you can see like, okay, that's, you know, that's it working. It's also a good way to prove like some of these terminals say that they're running on the GPU like Kitty or Alacrity. And you can kind of prove out that they are. The other thing, you know, I mean, that'll basically prove it is NVIDIA SMI. You can also, like, pipe it into watch. Like, I think if, like, you do something like this, like flag N1 or watch. Something like that. There's some way to do this. I just forget what it is. I think it's the other way around, maybe. I forget. Anyway, but you can, like, watch it in real time. I'll have to remember what that command was or how I did that. Any long-term plans for the channel? What's going to happen once you're done with the switch to Suckless? So I'm going to do videos explaining DWM, explaining... I want people to use this stuff. I want people to move away. NVTop? That might be useful. But I want people to move away from... like a lot of the other stuff. Yeah, this is kind of neat. Interesting. Yeah, I'll keep this around. Thank you for that. So I'd rather people use simple software like this and create cool patches. You know, like having a community around NeoVim, it's taught me a lot about NeoVim and different things that I can use with NeoVim. So I'd like, if I'm going to be using DWM for a very long time, then I want to do videos on it, explaining people from the ground up how to build it, how to do things, the quirks of it, and how to get all this cool stuff going. I think just like this thing alone has been awesome, right? Like like just this exploding window scenario here, like this thing is super cool. This did not work for me in i3, and I think it's because of how DWM does tags. So like essentially, like I can pop anything I want into these tags, right? Like I can now add like all the chats to 4 and 5 are chat windows, right? So now I've added all of the chat stuff to here, and now I can look through all of my chats, right? And now I can get rid of the tag 5, right? I could add like a bunch of stuff, or I could get rid of it, right? And so I think it's because of how tags work that like everything is still viewable like this, right? And I really like this. So this is the one reason, this is, if this may be the biggest reason that I will not leave. LSP fixed, yes. Last time auto importing was not working. He told me to stick to COC for now. Keep both. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if it's working yet. That's something you probably have to go ask the people who manage the LSP for that. I think Compy has something to do with it. I'm not sure. Now, let's see. Can't post URLs here, so Google for Rob Pike Go's declaration syntax for his thoughts on the topic. I may even look that up. I thought Suckless was a meme by torch lovers with an edgy host name on the side. On the other side, BSPWM is also written in C, but better, minimalist, and simple, and don't need to recompile for changes. I like recompiling for changes. I'm enjoying it, to be honest. Am I going to sell MV code to Microsoft? They're pro open source now. Cash in, sell out, bro down. No, I don't like Microsoft. I'm not friends with Microsoft. I've done Microsoft rants before. I really, really, really don't like Microsoft. And I'm not, I would, first of all, it's open source software. It'll always be free and open source software. I would never package it up or something like that. Like, I don't need to do anything like, I don't support anything like that. I'm not selling my, you know, you're alive for how many years? I'm not selling my soul to Microsoft or Google or anything like that. Personally, I'll be watching more. I used to avoid this channel was due to the fact that I saw a lot of bloat. Yeah, well, we're moving away from that, and you were right to do that. So you were right to boycott me for that. But now, you know, no more Oh My Z Shell. I rolled my own Z Shell plugin system. We're minimizing my web footprint. It may not happen tomorrow, but it'll be happening soon enough. And we're compiling all of our tools, all of our most important tools now. And patching in the features I want myself. Awesome WM is pretty nice. It's a DWM fork that uses Lua. I know all of the DWM, or I know all of the window managers. I've seen them all. And the only one I like is so far DWM. How does DWM handle multi-monitors? Well, you can see, like, with this Skippy thing, these things are on my other monitors, right? So, like, this is what's over here. And so, like, you can't see, but I just, you know, I can just switch over to here, and now I'm over on this other monitor. Like, I could probably show you. I think I have this one on monocle mode. Let's see. So we have this. What's the best way to do this? Let's turn this on and turn this on. Okay, so now you should be seeing my other one. And now you can see, like, okay, this is here. Now I have this in monocle mode. This is also where I keep all of these guys, too. Like, I keep all of the, whatever the hell these things, my sys tray, right? And so I keep my system tray over here as well, just to keep it out of my way on my main screen. So, yeah. So let's, you know, monocle mode, zoom back over to this guy, turn on my primary, turn this off. There you go. So, yeah. I think you're talking about Skippy thing. Yeah, the Skippy thing is pretty cool. DWM handles multi-monitors, I think, very well, the way that I like. Do you find that NeoVim's Chem ZQM could be a little certain responses? I don't know if I know who that is. Wait, did this man move to Kitty? I'm using Kitty for one reason. I went over it in another stream. I won't be for long. I'm going to probably move back to ST. I'm a little miffed that Neovide seems to not be working. Like, it just crashes. You know what? I know why that is. I cannot type. What? Okay. I think I put CD. So, yeah, if I go in here and then if I look for settings, I think it's the font. Well, it's something. I don't know what's making it crash immediately, but it was working for me not too long ago. By the way, if you're on this platform, if you're over here and you're on Discord, move yourself over to Matrix. Matrix is cooler, and it's not tracking every single last thing you do. Eventually, I will bridge the two, and then I don't know what I'm going to end up doing with this one, but I want to get everybody on Matrix. Matrix is the idea, right? We want to go there. So join me on Matrix. I have a link in the description for that. Let's jump back over to the chat really fast. Yeah, I am going to be moving to ST. I'm going to be rolling my own, essentially. I'll probably look at Luke's for a little bit of inspiration, maybe DTs, I don't know. Yeah, I'm very anti all these big tech companies. I'm very anti, like, Microsoft, Google, all this stuff. That's the other thing. I'm starting, and this will turn into a website probably at some point. But I'm starting, this is at least my GitHub. I think I have it in my repositories. Yeah, is it this one? Okay, so I have this alt tech freedom checklist, right? And like, I want you to be free from the big tech companies, right? Like, this is alternative technology that you can use for all different things, right? And I want to grow this, and if someone wants to put in a PR, and I guess other people have found it already, but essentially what I want to turn it into a website at some point where people can like add their suggestions for like, like alternative web browsers. I think alt tech gets like this bad name. It's like associated with like bad people or like, evil people, but come on, that's for a freaking reason. Wow, imagine that all the competitors are all evil, huh? From the big the big tech companies, right? So like, use LibreWolf if you're coming from Firefox, because Firefox, don't let them fool you. Don't trust Firefox. Ungoogled Chromium if you're coming from Chrome, right? Brave is the absolute worst I think you should consider, and it's what I'm using right now. The only reason, though, is because Brave at least pays you for your ads in BAT, right? So like, you can sit here and earn BAT at least, right? And you can pay people, and it's cool, and like that crypto aspect is interesting. Maybe their private search thing, if it's open source, who knows? Maybe that will be interesting as well, but who knows? Search engines, things like Cirx, Startpage, DuckDuckGo. I'm not sure if I trust them, and the Brave search. Different messaging things, like these are the ones that are probably better. Check them out. I don't have anything for music yet. VPS, you don't want to use AWS. AWS will just kick you off if they don't like you, right? I don't know what the ideal solution is, but hey. Password managers, phone alternatives. So like, I've heard about this thing called Graphene OS, and you should check it out. Hardware, here's some hardware companies that I would support. Video streaming platforms, money alternatives, savings accounts, lending protocols on crypto. I know a lot about crypto, but I don't talk about it because I don't, have the time, I guess. Also, I don't want to be like a crypto shill. let's see. Anyway. Yeah, I'm not moving to awesome WM. I get enough Lua out of my Vim config. Yeah, I'd rather just use DWM. I want to like convince everybody to use DWM now too. I want to like get everybody like, you know, even if you're not gonna like configure it yourself, just like grab my fork or Luke's fork or DT's fork or something like that and just, you know, do that. This makes sense. I'm thinking Kyle's agreeing with him. Kyle's my only moderator here, by the way. What are my system specs? What are my system specs? What's a good way to get that? Maybe NeoFetch would be a decent way. Here's my system specs, right? Some of my system specs. You can see the kernel I'm on, my resolution. I have 2 monitors that are 1440p. I don't know. CPU, this is my CPU. This is my GPU. This is my memory. I'm also probably going to get rid of my Nvidia, at least in my main computer, and just start up a server with my Nvidia if I want to do anything like data science related. Yeah, this is a good reason. No, I haven't tried SL status. Can you click on SL status? Is there any advantage to SL status over DWM blocks? I'm not dumping Alacrity. I need them to support ligatures. Just be good people and support ligatures, or find a cool patching system where I can just patch in ligatures. I really like to try building ST and DWM, but yeah, I haven't gotten to learning C yet. Been focused on learning Lua for fun. JS skills, looking for web dev work. Yeah. Yeah, this is my reasoning. I like my ligatures. I'm going to be moving over to ST, though. You watch. If I didn't already know C, I don't know if I would really... I did a lot of C in college. So, like, I know some C. I'm going to get back into C, most likely, and just start using it. Yeah, it might be painful, but, you know... Will this be saved on your channel? I really want to watch, but yeah, this will be saved. I'm going to post this one. I'd like to learn some C, but learning to improve at 2 languages is enough for my brain to process at the moment. Dude, I know so many languages at this point. I won't say I'm the best at every single language, but I know a lot of languages, so adding another one is not going to kill me. Why is Brave the worst? Because it's Chromium based? No, Brave is the worst for other reasons. There are other nefarious reasons, but it's the worst. It's the worst of the best. All right, you should at minimum be using Brave, in my opinion. If you run Chrome, why are you here? Like, get out of here. I know C++, but don't know any C. Oh yeah, you're gonna be just fine. And you basically know a lot of C. You're just going to strip away some of the things that you can do. I think there's an Alacrity ligatures in the AUR. There is. So here's my other issue with Alacrity. Okay, got Alacrity. Seems fine. Seems like there's no real issues. I'm in here. One thing I don't like is that it won't let me have a cursor color that I want. Now I think regular Alacrity supports this, but Alacrity ligatures doesn't. And maybe it's a stupid reason. And maybe I will move back to Alacrity because I do like it better. But yeah, it's something to think about. It's just something that I don't necessarily like. So init.lua. This is like I don't like that it's like inverting my cursor all the time. I just want it to be white and that's it. I know it's kind of stupid, but yeah, that's my reasoning. I do like Alacrity though. Not sure if really it's worth using ST over Alacrity, but I might as well just have a decent ST. What's a ligature? So what a ligature is this. See how I did equals and it became 1 equals? See how I have this, right? And then if I do like a space, see how that's like an arrow? I'll get rid of the space. See how it becomes 2 things? If I mouse over it, it becomes like 2 things, but now they merge into 1. I think even 3 will give you like a triple equals. Wow, that light bulb don't look so good. And then what else? Yeah, you know, this is another thing. It's not like putting this stuff together. There's issues. There's some issues here. But anyway, that's what ligatures are. Let me see. So, yeah, D-menu's awesome. Why would I try WesTerm? What's the difference between C? I mean, what is different between C, C++, and C#? Don't even put C# in the same category. It's like in a different universe. Put C# in the Java category. But C and C++. C++ has a lot of things that C doesn't have, like a lot of extra things on top. Like, I won't get into it now, but, you know, maybe I'll explain C later on. Let's see, 1 second. Let's see. Never wanted to go back to pure C. It's funny, I mostly did just pure C, so I don't know about that. It's just like people get so serious about bloat. That's what it seems like. People get so serious about bloat a system has, whether it's systemd or sudo. Yeah, I don't know if I'm really ready to go that far, but, you know, doesn't matter, I guess. If you want a CLI client, I don't think one exists for GUI, DB, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Lacquerty, yeah. Yeah, it's not as bad as Java, though. C# isn't as bad as Java. I could never go back to normal C after blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Maybe. I like C. It's fine. D flat? I've never heard of D flat. Did you pass patch DWM with the transparent patch? No. Yeah, object-oriented programming also is the bane of my existence. So, C++ is C plus bloat. Yeah. Has anyone here used ST with the ligatures patch? I'm gonna be trying it out soon. Thoughts on Sway? I don't know how I feel about Wayland. So I'm not using Sway. I'm staying on DWM. If I ever move to Wayland, there's a thing called DWL or something like that, and I'll switch to that. And it's all written in C. Yeah, but it's in the same world as Java. I know that, you know, you may be a C# fanboy, but I think it is way further ahead. I will say this. I would rather be writing in C# than Java from a technical standpoint, from a language standpoint, because I've written in C# before and I like it better than Java. But I'm not, you know, I'd rather write neither. Do I know any NIM? I don't know any NIM. C++ is to C as lung cancer is to a lung. Yeah. Having programmed in it in both throughout my time in college, I think, you know, he might have a point. Not that C++ is bad. I think C++ is still better than a lot of alternatives that we have out there. So, yeah. So, anyway, I think that's mostly like what I wanted to go into in the stream. That was everything I had written down on this notepad in front of me. Basically, you know, moving over to Suckless tools, DWM, dmenu, DWM blocks, ST, all that kind of stuff. ZSH and stow and all my dot files. So, like, basically, if you want to, like, go and get my, you know, my dot files or whatever, they're over here on, and I'll do a video on stow and, like, explain stow. I haven't really been doing videos lately because, like, you know, like, I don't know. I've just been having more fun just streaming and, like, just talking about things, I guess. But, like, if you want to do it, you can clone mock files down, and if you want to, like, install something, you could literally just do stow everything, or you could just do stow and pick one thing. So you could just stow zshell, right? And then it'll just put zshell there, and that's it. I won't get into xdg config. That'll be for a different video, but you should be using xdg config standards as well, because I am using them for pretty much everything, and I will be. Here's the ultimate thing: debloating your home directory. getting rid of all this junk here and moving it into places that make more sense. Like I'm going to have to do it with a bunch of stuff. That's going to have to happen at some point. But yeah. So I think, you know, I don't want to take this video on too long. I just kind of wanted to explain what I'm doing with everything. I'll go over a couple more chats and then I'll be done. So Rust Gang, I'm not necessarily against Rust. So, you know, check out Rust. Embrace new tech, support something other than X, move to Wayland, just do it. No. I don't want to embrace any new tech anymore. I'm actively rolling back all of my new tech to simpler tech. Not that I'm against Rust or Go. I will use these programs if they make sense. C is the only true languages. All other languages just feel like worse forks of it. No, C is a great language. Is your DWM build available on GitHub? Yes, it is. So the coolest part, again, is this thing, I think. It is available, let's see. And that's the, you'll need Skippy XT to do that. But yeah, it's available right here. So you can come check it out. It's DWM. It's right on my homepage. I also have D menu. I have a very riced out D menu as well. I always think it's D, but it's not D. I have it as super space. Also, if someone could figure out how to get rid of all this shit and just give me my desktop files, I think I could write a script to do it. But if somebody has like a script already and you share it with me, you'll be my friend. So... Thanks, Chris. By the way, I moved to Lua config mostly because of you. The new LSP bundled in NeoVim feels a lot faster than COC. I think it definitely is faster. What do you think about Lisp? It's definitely superior. By the way, Worthy, if you know JVM and Java, there's Clojure. I don't want to be in the I am in the JVM every day for work, and I don't want to be in the JVM anymore. I used DWM for 6 months before switching. I used DWM for 6 months before switching back to DWM. Oh, switching back to awesome. Okay. A minimalist WM is great for minimalist programs. DWM spawns certain windows incorrectly, etc. It spawns everything correctly for me. Like, for instance, like if I want to like spawn, like for instance, like I don't know what windows you're talking about, but like I have patches for like centering things. So like if I do like GIMP, right, like a floating window will just like center right there, you know. I don't know. Like I haven't really had any real issues with it. Floating windows are a little... like I'll just put this into float mode and I guess I can move it around. That's for the most part fine. I think I've had some issues. Oh, it's right click to resize. And then you can resize it. And so we could do something like this, right? It's got a little bit of that, but I think it looks fine, right? Like, you know. And then you can like snap it back in. So, where's 4? What's wrong with Wayland? It's supposed to be the future. I don't know. I'm just not worried about it yet. And if you want a debloat file system, check out Gobo Linux. I might look into it. You have to tell me about what it does. Python is the best. I think Python has its use cases for like learning algorithms and stuff. I think it's a valid language. It's a valid language for learning complex ideas, essentially. If you're trying to get closer to thought, then Python is a better language. Things like Julia, too. Haskell, yeah. Monads and other downsides for actual production code. I like Haskell, too. I think Haskell is a great language. I have done very little in it, but I like functional programming. What is the shift view patch? The shift view patch is essentially, I'm pressing Super N. Right, and then it's just taking me through everything, and then P will take me back, and then this will take me forward. And there you go. That's shift view. I hate Kitty's default sound it makes whenever you hit the tab after CD. So when I learned Z Shell, what I found out was that what you can do is, let's do CD conf. Actually, I have this thing. I have J, Z, S, H. Okay, and then I'm there. See, these are tools. These are better tools, you know what I mean, that you really should be using. Also, I have this thing where I can like move through this with Control J, K, H, and L. I think I saw Luke did this with just J, K, H, and L, but I thought that was really stupid, and so I did Control J, K, H, and L instead, so that I can still press H. Let's see. Oh yeah, the unset beep thing. That's why I'm here. I think this fixed that, right? Like this unset beep thing. Anyway, I'm not going to test that out because that beep is very annoying. I started Luifying my Vim last year, still in the process. Your last streams are very helpful. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to do videos once it's the main thing. Hopefully that unset beep thing does that. Erlang or Elixir? I don't use either. I don't know what either of them do. Some prompt looks amazing. I don't know what prompt you're talking about. Umus is giving me lots of dots. All right. So, all right, you got about 5 seconds to, if you have anything to say before I end the stream and work on more of my software, maybe working on Gemini, maybe working on a couple other things. So if you have anything to say, I'm probably going to get out here. Do stuff like live coding music interest you? There are things like Algo Rave using things like title cycles. No, you could send me a link in Discord for what you're talking about. Sounds somewhat interesting. Enable Bell Audio, no. Bell on tab, no. Yeah, that's good too. More dots from Ooms. See you later, Dasghetto Pikachu. Thanks for doing the stream. Thanks for showing up to the stream. Thank you, H4PZ. He's been in the Discord thing for a long time now. I guess he knows these two things will help you with Kitty. Anyway, yeah, so I think that's, pretty much all I wanted to say this stream. I'll check you. Yeah, I'll see you guys probably in the next stream. Make sure, I'm gonna have to plug my stuff here because people forget to follow me and like my videos. Make sure to follow me on YouTube. Check out this video, Stop Adding Features to Your Software. It's a 34-minute long video, but it really enlightened me as to what I'm gonna be doing with my software from now on. It's just something that is obvious that I just never really thought about. Definitely come follow me over on Odyssey. Check out Suckless stuff here. If you want to help, come in here, read through some of the patches, things like here. Check them out and, write your own patch or whatever. You can follow me over on my website. This site is subject to change in the future, but it is here now, and you can go check me out on all the social media that's up there. I will be posting this stream over to my Twitter this time. That will happen. Check out this GitHub README. Put something in here. I need links to all these things. I'll probably put links at some point in the future. But, if you have something to add to the Alt-Tech Freedom checklist here, go do that. I reserved a domain for if I want to make this a website in the future. It's a crypto domain, so, nobody can really censor it. What else do we have that you can really check me out on? Oh, yeah. In the description, there is a link to Discord, but don't click that link. Click the one that takes you over to Matrix, and this is an Element client for Matrix. I recommend the Element client for people just getting started. If you want a really minimal one, you can go with something like GoMux. But, yeah. So that's pretty much it for the stream, I think. Oh, yeah, the last thing is going to be if you want to support me, you can go to, instead of doing this, I think I have just a link so I don't have to even remember what the thing is. Go here. Yeah, so patreon.com/Chris@Machine. You can support me over on here. Send me messages, stuff like that. I will definitely take you more seriously if you support me over here. And it definitely helps me create stuff like this, so it gives me incentive to do it. And if I could get enough support throughout the YouTube channel, Patreon, and all that kind of stuff, then maybe one day I could just do this full-time, just creating cool software for people to use, and hopefully spreading a more a message for a more free and open kind of internet experience or software or whatever. You know what I mean? That's something I'm interested in doing in the future. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this live stream. I'm going to end it now, and I'll see you guys in the next one.